Welcome to the Unfiltered Path podcast, where we explore life's journeys without the constraints of filters. In a world that's saturated with highlight reels, we dive deep into the true essence of individual experiences, offering our listeners an uncensored glimpse into the triumphs, the struggles, and the transformative moments that define us. Our mission is to provide hope, inspire resilience, and to remind you that every path, no matter how windy or rocky, can lead to growth and enlightenment. Join us as we navigate the uncharted territories of truth and to be moved, to be inspired, and to discover that you are not alone on this unfiltered journey of life. Hey everyone, my name is Trinity Baker. I'm a mindset coach and motivational speaker. I help my clients go from survival mode to thrival.
Feeling stuck in your career? Overlooked by opportunities? Unsure of your next step? Maybe you're tired of spinning your wheels, struggling with clarity, feeling like you have potential but is constantly overlooked. I'm Jessica Visek, a certified professional career coach with nearly a decade of experience helping professionals like you achieve clarity, confidence, and success. Take Lexi, for example. She transitioned into a leadership role in brand marketing after feeling stuck for years. Or Rodney, who landed his dream job thanks to a standout resume we helped with that wowed his SVP. If you commit to the process, we will help you with measurable results. We've helped countless professionals transition to leadership roles, pivot into new industries, and feel much more fulfilled in their careers. Your dream career isn't out of reach. Let's make this happen together. Schedule your free consultation today at yourcareerpartner.net.
With my one-on-one coaching and motivational speaking. And I'm joined here with my co-host.
Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm the owner of Aerial Jade. I am an aerialist. That's a fancy term for performing suspended in the air. Essentially, I'm the bird of the circus. I'm also an educator, so I teach other people to do it as well. And I am here with my co-host.
Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Duval. I am the owner of Valüd Productions. My company works to produce and implement video marketing strategies proven to make you more successful with your business, turning strangers into clients. And I'm super excited today to be joined by our guest and sponsor of this month's podcast episodes.
Hi, everyone. Jessica Visek, owner and certified professional career coach of Your Career Partner. And I am honored to be here again. I have been brought on board previously, but I feel honored. This is the first of the year of 2025. So happy New Year, everyone.
Yes, happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Powerful to start our podcast of the new year off with our brand new sponsor who has taken to the Unfiltered Path podcast to share her message wider and stronger. And Jessica, it is an honor to have you as one of our sponsors because we believe so much in your message that you empower people to really find the career path that fits them, get out of that dead end that they're stuck in. And which we've all done. And so I think we all have that passion with you. It's like our career is where we stay. Like we are in our career for most of our life. Like it's something that we do the most of every single day, every single week, every single month. And so I love what you do because you help people not be stuck and that you help them find their passion and make the biggest impact. So super honored.
Yes.
I know. I love that you guide entrepreneurs because as entrepreneurs it can be a very solo journey and that's beautiful, it's okay, but it's nice knowing where we can go get support, and you're like the guide to entrepreneurs, so that's really special.
Yeah, because entrepreneurship really it's much more than just business ownership, right? So you can be an entrepreneur and still have a career with an organization because it's more about our passion and our mission and our impact that we're dedicated to making. So you might be an entrepreneur in a career. And I think that that's beautiful.
Right. A leader needing to be led. So sometimes if you're in the corporate world, they still would reach out to you if they're trying to get to the next level within their goals structure. So I don't want to limit you by the word entrepreneur. but leaders in general.
Yes, leaders.
'Cause a lot of entrepreneurs are great business owners, but they're not leaders or mentors or community based, right? Or all those things. And some people need guidance, or some people are all those other things and not enough business. So it's nice knowing that there's outlets out there to get to the next level.
Most definitely. And I'm super excited to have you on as this month's sponsor for the Unfiltered Path podcast. I'm curious, Jessica, what was it that kind of stood out about or resonated with you about coming into the podcast and sharing your message through this medium, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, no, great question. So I actually was introduced to Trinity by a mutual friend, and we got along amazingly. And she mentioned she had this podcast, and I wanted to increase obviously my brand awareness and get my visibility up. And being on podcasts, I've done others, but this one really I think stood out because it was, I just felt very authentic, like just people that have their own message, their own path, if you will. It's the kind of the title. But you individually, have, can speak to an audience member, but then collectively people feel, that what they can get out of each episode is certainly important, whatever kind of the topic of the day is. So I just said to myself, Jess, you have to stretch yourself. You have to take some risks. Not saying coming on a podcast is a risk, but you never know. I mean, in the standpoint of how you portray yourself, you're not gonna please everybody. But I hope what my message today and what I'm going to say about what I can do for professionals that want to, as Trinity said, kind of get unstuck and find their purpose. Hopefully will resonate with some folks. And to Danielle's point on the entrepreneur, I mean, I always view myself as a natural mentor, somebody that wants to be that example for other entrepreneurs. I'm never going to say I know everything. I feel every day I start my day and say, all right, what is the challenge of the day, and what do I want to achieve that day. Other days are harder. You naturally you hit a breaking point. Around the holidays, you're like, okay, I need to take care of myself, and take a step back and recharge. So I definitely took advantage of that over the holiday, and feel fresh and ready to tackle the new year. So
I love that.
So you're available digitally, correct? Like,
yes,
service people all over. So I think that's why it's also a great pairing, is we have really expanded our reach in terms of like where our guests are, where our listeners are. I love that we're technically in Maine, and you are, if you can remind everyone.
No, I'm actually I am not a Maine.
No, I know you're not in Maine. I remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm outside of I'm outside of Philly. I am west of the city of Philadelphia. Awesome. So still on the East Coast. But I am much further down south.
Oh, Jessica, I knew you did not live here. I want you to know, like, I know details about you. I just wanted you to tell them that, like, you are from here, but you can offer your services in a broad range.
Absolutely.
And then,
Oh,
no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I work with clients around the world. I mean, I work with folks in Australia, England, Canada, across the US. I am always, it's not so much where you live. It's really what your story is, and do we connect, and do I feel like I'm the best fit to make whatever that goal is, to make that happen.
It's about the Australia client. I don't know why, but that seems so cool to me.
Oh, really? Yeah. She's very great. It was a referral. So yeah.
I love that. What I love about Jessica is she's very diverse, right? So she can take anyone who is feeling like there's more and they're feeling that stuckness or they want some guidance and support. She's going to tell you whether she's the right match for you. She is going to give you resources if she's not, and then she's going to help you if she is. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Like, I think that that's essential. I think she's so educated in her practices that she can help anyone in any industry because it really
Mm.
is all the same, right? It doesn't matter what industry you're in. We're going to harness the same things. We're going to look at the same things. We're going to have the same energy. We're going to have the same intentions. We're all different. So that's going to be different for you than it would be for me. Jessica is that kind of that GPS that's going to help you figure out all those things. So you don't have to do it alone. If you're stuck in a career that is not fulfilling or you have a purpose that you want to go for, like she's going to be there to help GPS to guide you, which is really cool. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Most
Yep.
definitely. With it being towards the beginning of the year, and taking this step into sponsoring and coming back as a guest on the podcast, with the clients that you're connecting with, are you seeing like any sort of patterns in like people's goals, or like do you have any goals that you've been working on right now? Like we're all in that kind of like move
Mm-hmm.
forward into this
Mm-hmm.
is the year. Like what are those things that either you accomplished last year or that you want to ramp up this year, or things that you're setting for yourself? I'm just curious if there's any sort of like patterns or anything.
All right. Well, thanks for the question. That's a good one. So, with regards to clients, that the patterns that I saw last year and have been seeing more and more going into the new year are folks that are primarily like done with kind of what they've been doing and they're, which we've already been saying, stuck, but in a different way. Like some are pretty dramatic in shifting what they've been doing because it's just not doing, it's just not giving them that fulfillment anymore.
Mm.
And it doesn't feel right anymore. So, and it's taken a toll. Some people, I've been there, the burnout really affects you. I mean, in many different ways. Um, so I call them, and folks that will be watching the podcast and the ads. Great job, by the way, Graham. I did take a look at them this morning.
You did a great job too.
Oh,
I was
thanks.
really proud. I like this morning because it was like the greatest thing to wake up to and like kind of
Oh,
just to be honest. I was really proud of
oh, thanks, honey.
yeah. Good job.
So now I'm having FOMO because I didn't get to my email. Oh,
Oh my God, it was so, and there's just, she's adorable. Graham, you do such a great job at what you do. And I was like, oh, I need to do something similar soon because it's just effective. And you did a really good job. And I was just really happy for you because, in getting to know you, you explained that having a larger digital reach and being vulnerable in a camera, this is one of the reasons I'm doing the podcast is so I could get comfortable with that. So I just so
Mm.
relate to that story, and you did such a good job.
Oh, thanks, honey. But certainly, and twofold actually, because I'll answer Graham's second part of his question is we talk about those career pivoters, and I've been fortunate to meet and work with folks that do that more of the extreme. They're like, I need to just start fresh. And it's scary. It's like the unknown is always scary. Let's just put it out
Mhm.
there. So that has certainly been a challenge as a career coach because there's no, well, I mean, there's never like a roadmap per se, but you're always starting from, like, in a way, with that client, you're always starting with ground zero, and you really need to dig in. I love being a career coach, but it's emotionally taxing because you're this is just me. I do not do things halfway. I commit
Mm.
myself 100% to my clients and care about them and want them to be successful. I take on whatever their challenge is, like it was me on the other side. So
Yeah.
it takes a toll, and I'm sure Trinity feels that way in her role because we have that the fact that we work one-on-one with that person, and we hear them from that day one, that consult, and the next, maybe the actual session, the first session, and they're emotional, they're frustrated, they're, and I internalize them. That's just part of my personality. And it's beautiful to see kind of the end of, once they've gotten to the point of being unstuck or having that clarity. I know Trinity talked about using that word is so important. And Graham and I incorporate that into my ads. And it's just so vital for people when they are stuck, is to find clarity. Whatever that
I think
means.
that speaks,
right? Like, you think our brains, sorry, Graham, our brains are we are wired to fear the unknown. And so that's why we stay stuck, is because there's so much unknown. And so what Jessica gives you, really what all of us give you in the profession that we're working with, but Jessica specifically in this area, is that she's not going to tell you what you're going to do. She's not going to tell you the outcome you're going to have. She's not going to give you this beautiful roadmap that's going to be exactly what she says. But what she's going to give you is the support to be less scared. And she's going to help you create the clarity to be less scared. And then you have to choose to push through the fear. And it's a lot easier to do that when you have someone by your side, right? It's like think about it, 2030. We didn't have GPSs. We printed 30 pages of directions.
Yeah, MapQuest. Yeah.
The gazetteer.
Yes, the people that took road trips without a GPS, like, I can't even imagine doing that.
The big maps. Yeah.
That's why you turn people into spinning backwards. That's how powerful fear is. It's like, that's literally what my job is. Like, when I were like really, like, I have a niche, I know what I'm doing, but when I really narrow down into like the daily activity and what I'm doing, it's redirecting fear and giving people they think is impossible, giving them the tools to do something that's totally possible. But yeah, people can't spin back. It's self-included. I have my own weird, but like, it's just, that's how powerful fear can be.
But
and
we all do it. We all help people through the fear.
Yeah, it's like a pre-program to being human.
Oh,
like,
most definitely.
Yeah.
I think it speaks what you were saying, Jessica, that like there's no like set roadmap, and kind of like what you were saying, Trinity, is like there's no set roadmap. But in working with you, Jessica, you, Trinity, you, Danielle, myself, we are ones that help, with the help of our clients, develop that map specifically for that person, and it helps with that guidance. And like what we were talking a little bit before the podcast is that, like, if you don't know somewhere where you're going, how are you going to get there? And the same thing with the GPS. So like, by working with Jessica in those career pivoters, like, you can help develop that map. There's no like set one, but you help develop it for them specifically in their specific whatever's going on in their life. And then now you've got some sort of like direction, which when you have some sort of direction, it makes that it's not so unknown anymore. It's a little bit easier to take that next step, even though it is still really hard and there is still unknown about outcomes and things like that. But you have a little bit more direction and a little bit more known versus completely nothing than from before.
Well, and to add to that, and to get to your second part of your question about kind of with me, is giving people options takes away some of the fear as well. So when you have options, you're not feeling like this is it. And I've been there too. I work my corporate life, which feels like a million years ago. You get into this mindset that this is the only reality. And I box, like people, you box yourself in, and some of it is self-preservation. Some of it is just the feeling of again, kind of venturing out to something that's unknown. But you get kind of to kind of get into Trinity's area of focus, you get this mindset of these are the only this is it, and I can't really veer too far off this path. And you just keep saying this is it, this is what's supposed to be. And no, it doesn't need to be that way. And I, being in my seat now, being an entrepreneur as many years as I have been, and there was no roadmap. I just kind of figured it out as I went, and certainly getting influenced by other more seasoned entrepreneurs in my field, but doesn't mean that that's the path. That's what worked for them. Doesn't mean it's going to work for me. So I find it exciting that I'm creating my own path, and this is all me. So that's exciting to me. Other people might think, oh my God, like, no, I need somebody to tell me what I need to do. Like, you get into that mindset when you work for an employer. They're telling you everything, and this is your job description. Again, kind of boxed. You're boxed. And I think now looking back, I could never go back to that, because my mindset has been completely shifted. And I'm just a different person. So I'll let you say something, because I do want to get to Graham's other part of his question, but looks like you wanted to say something, Trinity.
No, you're so inspirational. I love the inspiration and motivation that you give me when we talk. And I can only imagine what you give your clients, because it is so, it's so downing when you're going to a job that's unfulfilling, and and you just have this fire in you. And so I want to mention just how inspirational you are. It's really amazing.
Oh, thanks, honey. So to Graham's other point of kind of like what for me this year, well, certainly this was something I was looking forward to. When for the audience, just to give a real quick context, the wonderful people here at this wonderful podcast started a new initiative on bringing on sponsors, and they asked me if I'd be willing to do that. So I feel honored that I am your first sponsor and the start of the year. I think that's like super exciting. So part of 2024, and really became more of a 2025, because it's okay. If a goal doesn't, like, you don't achieve that goal, that's okay. Maybe there was other things that needed to happen to really make the next big goal a more of a reality. So I want to get more into the digital, like making digital content. Obviously I have a lot in the written word, a lot of posts and content from, kind of, since I have more of the writing piece as part of what I do professionally, but also I want people to see another part of me beyond the written word. So, when this opportunity was presented to me, I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic. I mean, I have Graham, his expertise, his talents, and, I created ads with, obviously Graham really did it. I just sat there and he fed me lines. But it was like a new experience, honestly. When I was telling my sister the other night about it, and I was explaining them, she's like, oh, that's really cool. She's like, that's great, Jess, and doing that, I mean, yes, it was intimidating. All right, getting all the equipment up, and obviously we had the script going in, but then actually, like, kind of in an acting way, I'm not an actor.
It was built with intention, so it's not so it's truth. And
yes,
very scary, because I still struggle with the very same thing. So the podcast is I went into it being like, this is my buffer, like, this is going to get me comfortable, because I totally relate to that, especially when you're being intentional, because it's our passion. And what's so strong with you, what the strongest part about you is your energy. And one of the goals we have is to create resolves for our listener. And you're a resolve. You can help guide someone. So we wanted to put people in the forefront. And your energy is what's so like, oh my God, she's amazing. So this is the way people are really going to be able to see you beyond your beautiful written content. And so like we're excited for you to be a part of our goals too.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Yeah, so I would say getting more digital, getting more comfortable in that space, the digital, creating digital content, using certainly social media, but really extending in, transitioning, I should say, into again creating that type of content, the digital form, and I guess being comfortable hearing it's weird to hear your voice. So like hearing my voice more and putting thoughts together, but in a different way, and how you put those thoughts together, and also like really then packaging it and how to package it. And it's just a whole, I mean, Graham would attest to me, it's a whole new world, and it's not in my wheelhouse. And that's okay. Let me explore it and see what I can do to incorporate into my practice, into my business. And I am certainly not an expert. That's Graham. That's his wheelhouse. So at least I now have a resource. That's
That's
great.
helpful, because your clients will like be affected by that ripple, because you're by voice or referral, you can really help your clients moving forward.
And that's what we give our listeners here. Like every single guest we bring on and every single sponsor we have and will have in the future is a valuable person, right? And that's why we ask you, Jessica, because you provide such value. I mean, I think it's so amazing when you can hire a professional who has been through the same process you're looking to go through, right? So like I'm a mindset expert because I've used what I teach, I practice what I preach, and I know it works. Jessica has gone that path herself, right? And so Graham uses video content to market and promote what he does and make an impact in what he does. Danielle, your story is so impactful, and you've done exactly what you're teaching people to do it. And so I love that we bring our listeners such value. And that we all practice and live what we preach. We've been there, we've done that. Let's teach you and support you how to do the same. And I think that that's so cool. I'm like a statistics person. And I just pulled this up real quick. And this is like mind blowing to me. I knew that the numbers were high. No, I don't know. We need to put like a little preface here that this is coming from Forbes. Do with it what you want. According to research, and astounding, and I am like mind blown right now, 93% of Americans feel trapped in their unfulfilled careers. That means that only 7% of the world actually feels like they're where they need to be. Wow.
Interesting.
I'm all that surprised.
That's a huge client base for me. I'm like, come on, bring it on.
So all of you 93% of listeners who are like feel super unfulfilled and stuck in your career, like we've got a really great resource for you, right?
Yeah, I know.
Let me think about that. I love what I do, but I don't always not feel stuck. Like let me humble myself real quick. I love what I do. So I identify with the 7% because I know that.
Yeah,
however, I do feel stuck sometimes, especially, what's interesting is I relate to creatively. Like I wish I had somebody to guide me to the next art step. Because I'm an artist, I think I know I can do all. I can envision it before I walk into it, right? But getting to those places sometimes can feel overwhelming or stuck from one kind of growth area to the next. So while you might love what you do, doesn't mean that you're not necessarily stuck, because I do feel stuck sometimes.
53% of Americans are trapped in unfulfilling careers, right? So like, I think if we look through the process of our beings and our healing and our growing and learning and all that thing, like we're all going to feel stuck, but it doesn't necessarily mean that like, I'm never questioning what I'm doing. Like I have an unwavering commitment to know that God, universe put me here, gave me the skills, like poured all this education into me because I'm here. This is what I'm meant to do. And you guys are all very confident in what you do too. So I don't think that is ever wavering, but feeling stuck. I mean, that's why we have the podcast, right? Because like entrepreneurship is freaking hard.
Yeah, okay, so you know how like to really invent something that's powerful, you have to like be the answer to a problem. And that's something that I like about our podcast because it kind of just no matter what level you're at, if you listen to a few episodes, there's a gem. And like being on the podcast and constantly interviewing people, I'm like always leveling up. I'm always a student. And so I love that our podcast is a resolve. And again, right back to that goal, wanting to give direct resolve to our listeners. Our podcast is so that. I love that. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
great, it feels nice to be a part of it because I'm so much more than just an aerialist, you know? And so this podcast really gives me an opportunity to show my business mind and we were just on a call about energy work and you
Yeah.
know it's quite liberating and cool.
I
One of
mean,
our goals is to go live. Like, so we want to have live audiences, and you're like a part of that journey for us. And then since you're a sponsor, you're also invited as a guest. So that is one of our goals. And I think as a new year, we can go ahead and share with people that we want to have in-person kind of sit downs and discussions. And that's so
Because
cool.
I
these
love that.
these
That's awesome.
conversations are powerful. We need to be having these conversations to get to our next level. As Danielle just
mm-hmm.
mentioned, being a listener of the podcast, we are listeners of our podcast. We're here, we're listening. Like we might be hosting, but I'm listening to everything,
Mm-hmm. And
everything.
we
Cool.
literally just had our episode where we talked about all being part of something and the power it has of the vibrations that actually help boost everybody into their best selves, you know. And so I think that that's part of the whole potentially going live, like when that will be, and you know, just being part of the listeners of this podcast, like you're stepping into that vibration and uh gaining influence from that. And I know for myself too, like I'm a video person and like I do a lot of stuff on video, but this podcast has given me more of the ability to share more of like my background story and feel comfortable in that. And I've stepped into that a little bit more into the public facing world and like that buffer there versus just the business side of things. And so it's really cool to see like this coming to fruition, especially with you as a sponsor, Jessica, and being on as a guest, kicking the year off. And so yeah, I'm super grateful for
Perfect.
all our listeners and for you. And yeah.
I love it. I love it. I have a question for us all, whoever wants to answer. What was a 2024 goal, resolution, whatever you want to call it, intention, desire, vision that you achieved?
I can answer because I like had a lot of reflection. So that's something we talked about recently on this podcast too, like get revive some gems, is that it was actually Graham's dad who said that it took him until retirement to reflect and that we should be taking time to reflect all the time. Like don't wait till retirement to reflect on your life.
Mm.
And so a clip came up and it reminded me of that. And for 2024, I wanted to yell at my kids less, and they told me to my face that I don't yell at them as much anymore. I told them, like, I'm like, I want to change this about myself. Like, you're the last people, you guys are gonna be crazy when they fight. It's like a whole nother level of patience that you have to learn to do. And then I was just raised that way. So I was just like, hey guys, like I don't want to be like that. It's not in my character. And you guys are my favorite people on earth. Like you're the last people I want to be mad at. I promise. And so I made it like a part of the family and it was a goal. And they told me the other day, like I had forgot about it. And they just said it to my face. They were like, you just barely yell at us anymore. And I was just like, oh, thank God. They like, yes, I did it. And then for my business, it was collaboration. And so I might not have that in like a dollar amount or like met like necessarily those type of things. Well, I've grown. But I've worked with so many people and like I've had so many more performers like out doing gigs, worked with like different dance studios, you know, basketball teams, you know, law enforcement, like doing the movie nights. They run the movie nights. So like, like I've just been collaborating like with like all year when I reflect, like I really did that. And
Community
I
impact.
even had a death mid-year. Like I went to a child's funeral. Like I will not be the same ever. It was like life before that, and then life after that, there was a perspective shift. Like they talk about jumping
Mm.
timelines. Like I don't know what that actually is, but if that is the real thing, I did it then. And so I just like reflected. I'm like, oh my God, nothing wavered the mission. I just hit 5 years of my business being open, and I could have given up like a million times, trust me. Like,
Yeah.
and I didn't. And so I don't know, I just feel really proud of like those type of goal setting wins. And that, so I don't know, I met my
Heck
goals,
yeah.
honestly. I did my numbers over the weekend because I like to start the year with QuickBooks done and like all that vibes. Like I just like knowing where I'm at, and I grew.
I love that.
So
That's beautiful.
that's all you can do.
Graham or Jessica, do you have something from 2024 you've achieved?
Jessica, what do you got?
I know. I've been like listening to Danielle because I'm
Yeah.
like, gosh, she killed it, man.
Yeah.
Um,
You never like realize that, right? Because
I
like
know,
it's
but you
oh,
really
I'm
like,
a millionaire and I want to be one of those, or oh, I don't have like my workbooks done, I wanted that done. But in hindsight, when I really looked at it, I was like, no, I made it a year about collaboration. I have about a bajillion posts about wanting to collaborate, and it was like so thought of. I
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
decisions, but I know that the why I met those goals.
mhm.
it's a reflection, right? You've got to reflect in order to identify like where your wins are, and it's a constant celebration.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say, I mean, of course, as a business owner, you have a certain dollar figure, and my husband just recently said, I would shift kind of what like how you look at your year, not
Mhm.
look at the dollar. I'm fortunate where we my husband and I always say that I'm one of with like a stool, so I'm one of the legs of the stool. So it's not like my I mean, don't get me wrong, our income is very important, my income is very important, but it's not like, oh my god, like the world's going to come to an end. So I self-impose a certain dollar figure, and I naturally think in my mind when I start the year, like, how did I perform last year, and then what do I want to achieve from a monetary perspective, i.e. growth? What do I want to end the year? And you know I looking back, I mean, I did fine, like I should be proud. I think a couple things that stand out to me is I think really starting to get, not to overuse the word, starting to get clarity over what the target audience or the target clientele I'm starting to just organically gravitate towards. So that's helpful. So I realize like which situation, if you will, like when somebody comes to me, this is my situation and can you help me? I naturally have fallen into, as we've said, the career pivoters. Doesn't mean again I'm not pigeonholing myself, but I just somehow love the challenge, and also I feel like I grow more as a coach. Like when you give me something like that, like a situation where somebody is in an unfulfilling, they're the 93% unfulfilling career for so many years and they don't know how to get out of it, and they need my help to create, as Graham said, create that roadmap, create that clarity, be that guide, give them the confidence,
Mm-hmm.
just really be that sounding board is so important to that person. So I would say that was certainly, didn't realize, but I met that goal, because it's always been kind of in the back of my mind, like I need to start to define like kind of my target.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I remember when that happened for me. You guys must too, right? When you just finally could see who the clients were. That's an
Yeah.
absolute goal.
Yeah.
And
It's powerful. I mean, it helps us make our message louder and helps us help more people, right? It's like I love what you said, Jessica, about like the revenue into your business. It is such a, I mean, businesses have to be profitable, right? Like, got to be able to sustain our lives. We got to be able to live. So that is a huge part of business. But the way I love looking at it is how many people do I need to help, knowing that the X amount of people I help will make the X amount of revenue. Because I'm like a super, I like to connect with my purpose, right? Like we're all here given gifts for a reason. How many clients do you need to work with to make your business have X amount of revenue to support you in your life, right? So I love that. That's super cool. Grant, what about you?
Well, no, I mean that makes a lot of sense, and like, um, with the clients and everything too, like, uh, you can dial in. It's especially just like for marketing, like you can dial in who that ideal person is, because having a clear message like that helps cut through the noise and, speak to that person. But it doesn't mean that you can't help other people. And we've talked about on here before too, like the whole niche process and like who process versus like people and things like that. And so I think it's important to have that, but also be open to like the maneuvering through that as well, which I see you doing, which is awesome. And for myself, I mean, I definitely have grown. This past year was a big growth year as far as just like lessons learned in business, and like my relationship to money and things like that. I definitely still doubled my revenue, which is good. And yeah, so that's the projection that I'm going for this year. But I've stated into the universe that I'm going to be even more than that, like way more than that. And so I'm putting the big goal out there, but I'll settle for the double, so that's kind of my big thing. And I like what you said about the people, because that has come into my head too. It's like, okay, to hit that number, it's only 2,000 people. And like when I think about it, at 2,000 people at this number that I want, like that's really not that many. You know what I mean? And so yeah, so I love that. And so this year is going to be the year.
Yeah, it is. It's that or something better. I love that.
Mhm.
It's like
Mhm.
something better. I'm totally here for that vibe. Mine is
About you?
non-business. I doubled my revenue, which is fantastic. Love that. Doubled the people I work with. Love that. 2024, I made the commitment to make different choices. I decided that if something didn't resonate with me, it didn't match me, it didn't feel good, it wasn't helping me move forward, I was going to make a different choice. And some of that was really hard choices that led to huge changes in life. So I feel like I've set myself up for 2025 to welcome all that it's going to bring with the choices I had to make. Like I feel like I've made choices that are going to set me up differently. And so I'm here to welcome that. Like, I'm just here to welcome that in
Oh, I
2025.
love that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? Like I practice what I preach, and I'm constantly preaching to clients. If you don't like it, change it. If you can't change it, you gotta have to
Mhm.
or get out of it. And so I committed to making different choices because I have to practice what I preach. And I know that when we do big, hard things, it brings us to the higher level. And that's what I always want to see for my clients. And how can my clients trust me if I'm not doing that myself? And so,
Mhm.
but speaking to like what we need to gain, like every choice I made that was extremely hard, and it impacted many, many people. I was always looking at it as like it's my obligation to get to my next level. No one else is going to take me there, right? Like we have to be the ones to make big decisions because we're our only advocates. We're our only people that take care of us. We're our only people that are obligated to get us to our next level. We hire coaches and mentors, and we surround ourselves with people that bring us up, but ultimately, like we're the only ones that make choices in our life. And so I don't know. You got to take it. You got to take your life in your own control. And that's what I did in 2024. So I'm really excited for 2025 going to bring. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Heck yeah. No, I think that's great. And hopefully our listeners can take some inspiration in that like setting themselves up for their goals and take inspiration from some of the different things that we've all gone through, like taking action, making choices, different avenues to reach your goals, and that it is okay if you don't hit it, that there's another way, another path, and another avenue that the universe has in store for you, and to welcome that in for sure. And so hopefully this podcast shed some light on that. So I'm super
Can I chime
grateful.
in real quick?
Yeah.
Because you should shed some light, so now I definitely have to say it. So in Chinese astrology, it's the year of the snake, which
Oh,
is
okay.
shedding skin. So we are going into 25, I don't, whatever people believe in, there might be a general theme of things that we're walking into our new self. We're shedding
Mm,
what we were per se. So when you said that, I was like
I
considering,
love
do I
that.
want to talk about it?
Yeah,
And when you
definitely.
said that, I was like, oh, because something it just really resonated with me when I heard that, especially after 24, like as like, the masses and the public and fame and like all
Mm,
that little world, right? Seeing what's happening there, it's just like, wow, it's really kind of universal. I think it's what we're all going through. And it does feel like it'll be like that snake year, like
yeah.
reborn.
For
20,
sure. 100%.
2024 was, yeah,
I
most definitely. Most definitely. So, well, thank you, Jessica, for joining us and being a supportive sponsor of the Unfiltered Path podcast. This month, our episodes are brought to you by Jessica Visek, owner of Your Career Partner. So make sure you tune in every episode this month to check out the Unfiltered Path podcast. Follow where all podcasts are on Unfiltered Path Podcast, YouTube, and everything. My name is Graham Duval. I'm the owner of Valued Productions. You can find me at valuedproductions.com, VALUD Productions. Same thing, social media at Valued Productions. Joined with my co host today.
Hey everyone, it's Trinity Baker, mindset coach and motivational speaker. If you're listening to this podcast and you're like, okay, I'm ready to make some different choices, like I didn't make different choices in 2024, I'm still here, I'm still stuck, and whatever that might be, I'm here as your partner to help you make different choices. I can give you the motivation, inspiration, and accountability to make those different choices and give you the insight that empowers you to do that without fear. So Trinity Baker, you can find me at thetrinitybaker.com or on your favorite social media platform. Joined here with my co-host.
Hi everyone, my name is Danielle. I'm the owner of Aerial Jade. You can live chat with me on my website. If you follow me on media, I inspire mothers to be athletic. I also specialize in aerial arts as a whole. So that's like 5 apparatuses. And we're here with our wonderful co-host.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me join the first podcast of the year. I feel really honored and being the sponsor for this month. And Jessica Visek, you can find me yourcareerpartner.net, as well as all the social media platforms, LinkedIn, and I hope to be launching my own YouTube channel. And just certainly drop me a line. Love to hear from you. Making a career pivot can be overwhelming, but trust me, you're not alone. Hi, I'm Jessica Visek. I specialize in helping professionals like you navigate change with confidence and clarity. Today, I'm offering a free one-on-one consultation to discuss your goals and how we can achieve them together. Don't wait. Schedule your consultation today at yourcareerpartner.net.
Thank you so much for joining us. Again, the Unfiltered Path podcast brought to you by Your Career Partner. Make sure you tune in next week at the Unfiltered Path podcast.